Hi everyone, I'm really excited about this episode. We'll talk about three locations across Australia that are cheap, that have high yields, and that will do very well likely in the next year, the next 2 years, 3 years, and beyond. You can invest in these locations, buy in these locations, sitting right where you are right now without having to catch a flight, doing all your due diligence in front of your computer. But at the end of the episode, I'll also teach you how not to do it. Avoid the mistake that I'll share at the end of the episode. Really excited about it. Let's go. Welcome to the Oz Property Investment Mastery Podcast. My name's PK and I help busy people build passive income by buying top 5% growth and cash flow property and build a portfolio using data without wasting months doing research, spending weekends at inspection or catching flights, or dropping $10,000 to $20,000 on buyer's agents every single time. So if you're confused, lack confidence, and just overwhelmed with all the information and marketing misinformation available online and don't know where to start, then this show is for you. Let's get straight into it. This is from the Australian Property Institute, just setting some context. Capital City house price increases between 2005 to 2024. So that sort of 20-year period. You might be surprised to see it was Adelaide that grew the most at 175% over that 20-year period. Then it was followed by Hobart at 172%, then Sydney 171%, Brisbane 169%, Melbourne tied at 169%, and the average for all states was 154, and Canberra at 148%. Perth 123, and Darwin all the way down to 102. What's really interesting is the inflation rate between this period was just 67%. So some people say, look, why would you invest in property like you're barely keeping up with inflation? Actually, you would have doubled, if not almost tripled your money versus inflation if you had invested. So if you're thinking right now that, hey, I don't want to invest my money, I want to keep it in my savings account where I get like 3%, maybe 4% max, the inflation rate is 3%, 4%. Your money is not going forward, even though you're making interest. It's being eroded by inflation. Put it into the property market, put it into the right market. We'll go through specific markets very, very soon, and you can triple what other people are getting in the bank. And of course, if you leverage, then you can not just triple, but 9x, 10x, 12x, 15x your money versus other people. No, I don't want to present data in a linear way. It should be multidimensional so you can paint a picture in your own mind. The 50-year house price growth from 1975 to now has seen Sydney grow the most at 3,802% increase over that time. Brisbane at 3,478% increase, Melbourne at 2,905% increase, Adelaide at 2,782% increase, followed by Perth, very similar, Canberra, and then Hobart at 2,496% increase. Over that time, inflation has increased by 775. And so bought well, the property market has done up to 4, 5, 6 times that of the rate of inflation. That's how you get ahead. But I guarantee you there are people that have just kept their money in the bank and gone backwards. By the way, Darwin didn't even keep up with inflation. It only grew by 576. So word of caution for all those buyers agents buying in Darwin right now. Now, the first location out of the three that I think have tremendous potential is in the statistical area 3, which is a term coined by the ABS, like a council almost, of Riverina. In Riverina, you have Griffith, you have Wagga Wagga, and Tumut and Timbarumba, if I pronounce that correctly. You can see of the three, Wagga has performed the best. The regional centres of Wagga, Dubbo, and Albury have continued to gain strength in the last 5 years as well. After rising 33.3% between 2019 and 2022, the annual average median price in Wagga rose 19.6%. That's 20% between 2022 and 2024 to reach $539,000. The most interesting and exciting thing for me in Wagga is it's slated to have $15 billion with a B of infrastructure projects over the next decade. The projects that are already under construction include the $2 billion Hume Link electricity transmission upgrade, the $16 million UNSW teaching hospital. Love hospitals. Hospitals bring high income, stable, cycle proof employment, highly trained professionals that grow roots. They demand houses. And a $1 billion Riverina Defense Estates development. The annual average median house price rose 85.8% between 2015 and now. So you know that Wagga can rise, but it hasn't overperformed in the last decade. So in terms of reversion to the mean, there's a lot of upside potential in this next decade coming. Now, sticking with New South Wales, let's go to our second location, which has tremendous potential. It is in the statistical area 3 called New England and Northwest. It's called Tamworth. You can see Tamworth has been pretty flat. This is the thing I love about it. It's been pretty flat all the way from 2014 till about COVID 2021, 2022. It had a bit of a spike post COVID around 21, 22. It did go up from about 350,000 to about 450,000. But that's hardly anything compared to what a lot of other regional locations around Australia did. What this tells me is that it has a lot of legs. It has all the kind of stars lining up for it now. And going forward, because it's still affordable, because it didn't rise so much. Remember, growth is the enemy of future growth. It hasn't grown that much, so people can still afford it. And of course, investors love the yield play on it as well compared to more metropolitan areas. Very close to Tamworth is Armidale. It's situated about halfway between Sydney and Brisbane, and it was actually named by a survey done by Citro, CITRO, to be the best place in the country to retire. Armidale has a university. It's called the University of New England. It has a great healthcare industry, great lifestyle amenity. And the great thing is that the lifestyle there is at a fraction of the cost versus places like Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. So coming back to this lifestyle and retirement affordability story, you know that we're going through a baby boomer phase now in the next 5, 10, 15 years, where all those baby boomers will retire. Do they want to retire in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, with all the metropolitan headache and fast-paced life and cost of living pressures? We don't think so. We think retirees will want to move to greener pastures, smaller locations where they're more peaceful and things are more affordable. Armidale and Tamworth are such locations, and this could really drive up property prices. What I love about Armidale, and I know I mentioned this about Tamworth just before, but since 2015, it's only grown by 49.5% median home price. What that tells me is that the next decade is going to be huge, because the reason I can say this is that over a 2-decade period, house prices almost invariably revert to the mean, which is to say double every 10 years. It hasn't doubled in the last 10 years. So because it's got so much going for it now, the forces of equilibrium, the forces of affordability, supply demand suggest it will have an outperformance decade coming up. And of course, in Tamworth and Armidale, there is a huge undersupply of houses and a lot of renewable energy projects going on. This is the perfect storm for positive price pressure. And the third location I want to talk about, which has so much potential, still you can buy under $500,000, still under $600,000. It is called Burnie, and we'll also talk about Devonport. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, Hobart has been one of the best performing locations, capital cities across Australia in the last 20 years. But somehow, even though places like Burnie have done well, they've not done as well. And so you can see in 2014, they started at around 250,000 or 300,000, and now Burnie, Devonport, they're around 450, 500,000. So yes, they have doubled, but in 10 years, they haven't performed as well as Hobart, which is more than double. So there's a ripple effect phenomenon that's due for people moving out of Hobart into the regions, just like it happens in New South Wales, Sydney folks going out to Newcastle, to Gosford, Central Coast, down to Wollongong. It happens in Melbourne, they move to Bendigo, Ballarat, looking for affordability down to Geelong. It happens in Brisbane, people go out west to Ipswich, etc., etc. But the great thing is that Devonport's port, the city port, is undergoing a $240 million upgrade, and this will boost freight capacity by as much as 40%. Like, that's huge for a small place. You drop a rock in a big pool, doesn't make a big difference. You drop a rock in a bathtub, it causes waves, so to speak. And because of this, it will also increase visitor numbers by about 70,000 a year, 70,000 folks a year. That's not nothing. Burnie has actually got a bigger seaport than Devonport. It's got the biggest seaport in Tasmania, and with median house prices under 500,000. I mean, where can you buy houses under 500,000 with this kind of yield? There are some places, my students are buying all over Australia, but here's some tremendous potential as well. Median house prices under 500,000. And here's the thing, great rental growth. Great rental growth is often the precursor to capital growth, because you see more and more tenants want to live in that location. Maybe there's more employment prospects, different industries starting up, seaport expansions, etc. Rents go up and they realize, hey, I might as well just buy here because rents are going up, and we feel that we can settle down. Rents grew 6.6% in the last year in places like Devonport and Burnie, and are up 37% higher than 5 years ago. Not all of Australia has experienced that. Retirees love places like Devonport and Burnie as well, and they're not one industry towns. You know, you've got agriculture, tourism, you've got transport associated industries, as well as the port, as previously mentioned. So I often get asked this question, hey PK, you always share how you built your portfolio buying basically under 500k properties with high yields, yields above 5%, 6%, 7%. How can you do this right now? Haven't prices boomed too much? Well, I post every single day my client results where students are buying properties under 500k with huge yields. And here are 3 locations where you can also buy for cheap with high yields. Now, make sure you pick the right suburb, because not all suburbs in these locations will do well. Pick the right property, the right street. Do your due diligence. And here's a warning. Do not use a buyer's agent to buy there. Here's an article from the ABC recently. Call for stricter regulations for buyer's agents after couple's costly interstate blunder. In short, after relying on a buyer's agent for expert advice, a blindsided Sydney couple has discovered their Wodonga investment property has costly hidden problems. The Real Estate Buyers Agents Association has warned that inexperienced buyers agents are causing headaches for customers. Not just inexperienced buyers agents, but the most experienced buyers agents as well, that you find on YouTube, that feature on podcasts, and that run millions of dollars of ads every day. Why are they also the troublemakers? Because the main face of the business, who you're hearing on the podcast or YouTube, isn't the one buying you the property. They're the ones hiring brand new people who have maybe previously IT professionals, business analysts, bricklayers, electricians, as inexperienced buyers agents in their business. And those are the people without any checks and balances that are buying you properties. So yes, you're paying $20,000 because of the brand, but the person that you're buying, that's actually buying your investment property, has no properties of their own. Renters Jasmine and Jason saved to afford $13,000 buyer's agent fee that would secure investment property that fit their budget. They had no idea the fee designed to save them time and money would turn their property hunt into a nightmare experience. The buyer's agent is hired to represent the buyer by finding, evaluating, and negotiating a property purchase on their behalf. And in my opinion, they're just a sales agent, because they get a commission every time they sell you a property. So follow the money, right? It tells you the truth 9 times out of 10. They get paid to sell you a property, so they're really working on your behalf? Think about it. In December, the Sydney couple, with advice from their buyer's agent, purchased a $405,000 property in Wodonga in regional Victoria. It was at this point when they should have been celebrating their purchase that things started going south. Emails seen by the ABC showed that the buyer's agent had assured them that the appliances were working and backyard rubbish would be removed. But after settlement, the couple received a list of issues from the property manager that needed to be fixed before the property could be rented. They were left with $15,000 in repair and bills and lost rent due to the buyer's agent overlooking Victoria's tough rental regulations. And here's the kicker: the buyer's agent never inspected the property in person, relying solely on a video walkthrough. Think about it. You're paying all this money to someone who should be doing your due diligence. Interstate, you've got these buyer's agents that buy anywhere across Australia. They don't even go or have people on the ground going through the property before you buy it. So what are you paying them for? I mean, suburb selection, intra-suburb selection, property selection can all be done online and through phone calls with property managers. It's all there, quantitative, qualitative data. So what are you actually paying them for? That's the question. When a property manager can inspect, boots on the ground, that property for you for free, and because they're not incentivized to sell you the property, therefore they tell you the truth, unlike a buyer's agent who will mask things because they want that money from you. They want that deal done. The couple said that when they questioned the building and pest report, they were told the issues wouldn't stop us from getting tenants, a claim they later found to be untrue. He even said he would add it to his own portfolio. Bendigo real estate agent Russell Mule said he had never seen so many buyer's agents in his 30-year career. In the past year, there have been surgeon buyer's agents contacting us. They can be demanding, sometimes unrealistic, about terms, conditions, and response times, trying to prove their value to their clients. What I am finding is that lots of sales agents are refusing to even work with buyer's agents because they're so arrogant. A lot of off-market deals now, I would even say the majority, go to DIY mum and dad investors because sales agents have had enough of dealing with these buyer's agents. In Bendigo, Mr. Muir said, he often dealt with agents who never inspected the properties they pitched to their clients. They wouldn't even know what the neighbors look like. They rely on Google Maps, but so can the buyer. Strategy development, suburb selection, property selection, negotiation, getting off-market deals, buying interstate, closing the deal, getting tenants, getting your rent. All of this can be done DIY because no one cares about your money as much as you do. Find a mentor, find someone who actually cares about you. More importantly, find someone who isn't incentivized to sell you a property or have you close a deal, where they are only incentivized to educate and teach you completely independently with no kickbacks or commissions from selling you a property. That cannot be said for buyer's agents. So you think about it. I've given you 3 amazing locations. Do what you want with this knowledge, but remember, the time to act is now, because if you wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, heck, even 2 months, prices that you pay for the same property will be thousands of dollars higher. Act now, do it for yourself, hit the subscribe button, give it a like, share this episode with someone you think will value it. My name's PK, thanks for being with me.